I am Daniel from Spacedock, and it's been a while since I have relentlessly mocked the hard work of some poor set designer from the distant past, so to resolve that problem, here is a very silly escape pod from Starship Troopers. Excellent movie, silly escape pod. Now you might think an escape pod is really just a barrel with people in it, and it's extremely difficult to get the design for that wrong, and you'd be right, but that didn't stop Starship Troopers from rolling out this insane rocket-powered go-kart escape system. Now as you can see in this gigantic room that takes up entirely too much space aboard ship, there is a series of bladed tracks leading into doors, each of which has a two-person pointy escape pod, which is mostly glass, which obviously isn't a good idea. Each of these pods fires a sort of belch of flame out of the back of it. There's no shields or handrails or anything, it just belches flame into the people around it, and the escape pod then trundles off along this rail, through a door, down a launch tube, to an exterior hatch, which doesn't apparently have any explosive bolts or anything. The escape pod just rams nose first through it and pushes it off in order to escape. Now you may have already noticed the numerous problems with this, but the film kindly illustrates some of them to us right away by having the escape pod next to the one our heroes are in immediately fall off the rails, roll over and explode. Because of course that was going to happen. Why does the escape pod need a rocket-powered run-up in order to get out of the ship? Why not just have a box on a decoupler that just gets let go of and floats away? Not action-packed enough, I suspect. I also find it quite amusing that these escape pods include helmets for the people in them, but they're not pressurized helmets or spacesuit helmets or anything. They're just the mobile infantry helmets painted black. Might as well have not bothered, to be honest. Now we can just about glimpse here that this huge room has space for 3 of these bizarre escape pods, for a total of a whopping 6 people to escape the ship in the event of a disaster. I don't know how many of these rooms the ship has overall, but in order to evacuate the whole crew of this ship using these escape pods in rooms this size, you would need far more space than the total size of the ship. So this system offers maybe a 40% chance of survival for the first 6 people to get to this room in the event of the ship blowing up. Again, may as well have not bothered, really. This is also one of those escape pods that has engines on board, even though the engines are completely out of whack with its center of mass and probably wouldn't work, but never mind that. So this escape pod can actually fly around at some range like a ship. Now I don't really like this idea in science fiction, I don't really see the point of it. There's no way this thing's got much range, because it's basically just 2 seats and an engine. And really, if you escape from a shipwreck in a pod, you would want the pod to stay near where the ship was destroyed to make it easier for search and rescue teams. I doubt that a realistic escape pod like this would have enough delta V to properly deorbit itself, even if the incident with the ship exploding happened in orbit of a planet, and it would then just hit the planet because it doesn't have any propulsion left to slow itself down. So I can hardly see the point, really. That is unless you're dealing with one of those weird magical Halo and Star Wars style drop pods where they just hit the ground at 900 miles per hour and the people inside for some reason don't turn to jam. If I was to say one thing in defense of this extremely strange escape pod, it's that it seems to be impossibly durable, as we later see it fly at full speed into the side of a mountain, go through it into the hollow catacombs inside, and then hit the ground at roughly the same speed, suffering basically no damage and leaving its 2 occupants completely okay. So there you go, let it be said that Spacedock has now spoken. Rocket-powered glass go-kart 2-man escape pods are not an effective means of evacuating an exploding spaceship. I will take this opportunity to say though, this whole sequence in the movie looks fantastic, and the damage effects on the ship from the bug plasma with all of the visible melted decks down the cross-section of the ship, it might be the best that spacecraft battle damage has ever looked. The effects in this movie really are incredible. From that perfect grace period where CGI was just coming in but they were still using it to improve the effects of model shots rather than to replace them entirely. Just an amazing looking movie. But if you think that will stop me from mocking its silly escape pods, you're dead wrong. Thank you for listening, this is Daniel from Spacedock, signing off. Thank you for watching Spacedock. If you're interested in supporting the channel, please do check out the links on the screen right now or in the description below for our Patreon and channel membership services. Anything you can pledge goes towards improving our team and our equipment and allowing us to put together bigger and more exciting video projects for you guys on the channel.